Welcome to the 300th episode of the Your Money, Your Wealth podcast. For years now, Joe and Big Al have been making retirement planning, investing, and tax reduction fun as they answer your questions about portfolio diversification, how much you can spend in retirement, creating that retirement income, collecting Social Security benefits, estate planning, and of course, Roth IRA conversions and contributions, and much more. So to celebrate today's episode number 300 is nothing but the funny stuff. You'll hear great email intros, some of our funniest derails, a couple never-before-heard outtakes, hilarious moments from our interviews with Dr. Daniel Crosby and Professor Jamie Hopkins, and the infamous story of Will and his free gasoline. All from the show that our regulars know affectionately as YMYW. If you have a money question or comments to add to the hilarity, click the link in the description of today's episode in your podcast app to go to the show notes and hit the Ask Joe and Al on air banner. I'm producer Andy Last, and here are your hosts of Your Money, Your Wealth, Joe Anderson, CFP, and Big Al Clopine, CPA.
Hey, welcome back to the program. Show's called Your Money, Your Wealth. My name's Joe Anderson. I'm a certified financial
planner. You're a planner.
Planner. That's what
You're going to say, what, pruner?
I don't know.
You like to prune bushes?
I don't know. Today, I don't know.
Certified financial pruner.
I might go there.
I prune your expenses, and that way you end up having the lifestyle you want. Of course, you can't spend anything because I've already pruned them.
Yeah, I'm just going to be
save, Al.
I'm going to be a green thumb, Al. I'm just going to hang out in the garden. When people talk about, let's just say a Roth conversion, for instance, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I've heard that show before. They just talk about Roth, blah, blah, blah.
Right, the Roth guys.
The Roth brothers.
We've been called it. The
Let's
Roth
do
brothers.
that. Changing this show up.
The Roth brothers.
Got Tom on the lam. He writes in, Al. Goes, Dear Big Al, Andy, and Joe, I don't really care for last billing here. And I think most people would agree that I deserve front billing.
You think?
I believe.
I think occasionally I could get top billing.
Well, he's got a tax question. Bruce from Joyzy emails us once again.
He's a regular.
Hello, Joe. And then he's got a bunch of lines here because he put me really at top billing. And I appreciate that, Bruce. And Al and Andy.
He gives you a lot of credit, Joe. And
yes,
then Andy and I are kind of second billing, which is fine.
Very much so.
That's what Joe thinks we deserve anyway.
Exactly. Sunil, he wrote in, Alan, doesn't give a location. So this must be a first-time listener.
Could be.
We'd like to know where you're at, Sunil. So he writes in, hello, YMYW team. So, Sunil, if you're going YMYW, you know you're a listener. So where are you calling from? And he just writes in, a longtime listener of your podcast. Really enjoy the content and the hilarious answers that make me Rolf.
Roll on the floor laughing.
Oh, is that what that is?
Oh.
Rollful.
Rollful.
I would have had no idea what that meant.
All right.
And realize that if you don't tell us where you're from, we're either going to make it up or I'm going to figure it out from your phone number, and it might be wrong.
Andy spends most of her day just like searching our listeners out. Oh, like Stuart from San Diego. I know exactly where he lives. Yep. He drives this. And John from Washington State. He goes, hey, guys, I enjoy the podcast while I walk my dog. All right. What kind of dog, I wonder, he's got?
Man, first you want to know where people are, and then you want to know what their dog is.
Well, I want to know what the hell they're doing while they're listening to this.
Well,
he's walking his dog.
What's the dog's name?
Yeah. I mean, is it a big dog? Small? Is he going to a dog park, or is it just like in the morning? Is it, I don't know. I just like to get in the listener's mind.
Got it.
They're getting into our minds.
Sure.
I would like to get into theirs.
Okay.
We got Jim from Cincinnati, Ohio. He writes in, hello, Joe, Big Al, and Andy. Thank you for your podcast. I found you out on YouTube and started listening to your podcast driving to work and back.
What kind of car?
What color is it? It's a gas mileage.
What year was it?
All right, enough. So if you do want us to do a couple podcasts a week, then you would have to write in. Go to Your Money or Wealth, jot it down, subscribe to our podcast, reach out to us, let us know. I'm guessing Marcus is the only one. And probably Andy would want to do it.
What makes you think that?
Because you like to find out where these people live and Google them. And then Google map them. I mean, Marcus, trust me, I got a picture of your house right here.
He's lying.
we're taking a look. Man.
You need a new paint job.
Yeah, you got a couple of dogs in the backyard. Oh, wait a minute. You got someone sneaking around that back shed. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us over the years, listening, writing in, calling in. Gym promotion side, what was, right? That would call in every week when we were take those
in the early days?
calls. Yeah.
Yep.
And the crazy guy from Coronado.
Yeah.
John from Coronado.
John. Yeah, I remember. He always asked about gold and
Gold
alternative
and,
investments.
Crazy stuff.
And someone called us one time and said, knowing that the world is coming to an end, how should I invest next year?
Wow.
That was a live caller.
How did you answer that?
We hung up on him. Yeah, and then in 2008, things are not great in the markets.
Right.
And then Al and I would, try to keep it light and, laugh a little bit and have some fun.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd get hate mail.
Yeah, people.
This is not funny.
This is not a funny time. You should not be making fun of this and laughing.
You should be ashamed of yourself for laughing at a joke. It's like, oh my God, relax. It's not like, oh, everyone's going broke, ha, ha, ha. He was talking about his kid, like he was bathing his kid at 22 years old or something, and so we laughed.
Wow, I feel like I just walked into a conversation and I don't know all the details.
You don't need to know.
Mike and Sue, they write in from San Diego. Say Sue will make $70,000 gross this year. Mike will make $135,000 gross this year. I wonder if Mike talks in third person all the time. He would drive me absolutely nuts.
I'll give you listeners. That's one of Joe's pet peeves.
Oh my God.
If I ever call myself Big Al, Big Al feels this way. Joe would just throw a cup of
God,
coffee
it's just like, oh my God, we were just interviewing this guy today. He's like, yeah, well.
Yeah, he did use the third person.
I was like, you just lost a job. Bro. That's it.
Wow.
I was thinking you were thinking
Yeah,
that.
Joe hates people talking in third person. Joe really gets annoyed. Right? First of all, Rudy, we'd like to know where the hell you're from, what you drive, and if you're a cat or dog person. Because Big Al will answer it if you're a cat person. I will not answer.
Now I'm a cat person?
Yeah, you're
But I gotta set the record straight. You keep talking about my big wallet, and now on our podcast survey, everyone thinks I got loads of money.
Well, you do.
And the only reason I don't refute that is I've learned by refuting something, it makes it 10 times worse, and you keep bringing it up.
Hey, you're talking to the stalker here. I get called the stalker all the time. Yeah, and for that exact same reason.
Yeah, so you just let it go.
True statements. Both are very true statements.
And what's the true statement about you, Joe?
What? That I am just a fun, go-lucky. Well, going back to your big wallet now.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years ago we were doing that big tax workshop. And then we were doing trivia to give away books or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And then I asked the audience, I said, hey, why do we call Big Al Big Al? Something like that, right? And then someone in the audience yells, I don't know, ask his wife. And the whole place erupts with laughter.
Right.
And then it was funny, the guy got a book. And so the next year, so Al opens the thing up. He's telling his own joke, and he can't give that punchline without sounding like a complete pervert.
Yeah, and I learned that. Thank you for reminding me again of one of my failures on stage.
So it was like, he said, hey, why do you call me Big Al? I'll ask my wife.
Ask my wife. I remember like 3 or 4 women were horrified. I heard gasps.
Oh, my God, it was crickets. It was crickets.
That wasn't a good idea. So then I said, Joe, you want to take over?
People wrote in their evaluation. I'm appalled. So...
See, my attempt at stand-up, I know I'm not a stand-up comedian, so I'll just let that go.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. All right, we got Chris from Austin, Texas. Greetings to you, Joe, Al, and Andy. Even though I'm very tech and social savvy, you think he's like savvy when he goes to parties? Is that what he's talking about?
That's what he's just like you. He's like, hey, baby.
So, Chris, he's down, at... that little place where they have all the food trucks.
Oh, never been to Austin, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, he's going down to the food trucks. He's
Can you imagine?
He's savvy socially.
He goes into a bar. He goes, "Hey, baby, seen the new Apple computer. And
he's tech savvy, and he's social savvy.
Yeah, right.
He's got it all dialed in. He's a latecomer to the world of finance, though. That was out here. So at 63, I'm not sure what he's writing.
I'm a latecomer to the world of financial info that was out here. So at 63...
That was out here?
Yeah.
Out here in Austin, Texas?
No, out in the world, like podcasts.
Oh, out here in the world of... So he's listening to a podcast as he's typing this.
Yeah, all right.
All right.
He's talking to a podcast.
So Chris is down. He's at the food trucks, having a couple cocktails, being very socially savvy.
He's got all kinds of women sitting at his table.
I have a feeling by social savvy, he means like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. That's what
I think it's more
he means
fun
by
to think
social.
of a party.
Yeah, I know. I think he's at some cocktail parties. He's being very socially savvy.
That's how I take it.
Jason writes back in from good old St. Paul, Minnesota. He goes, "Hey, thanks for responding to my question on show 295. I was running an errand when I heard the podcast. Once I got home, my wife and I had dinner, playing the podcast on a speakerphone. Wouldn't you love to have dinner over at Jason's house?"
Listening to us.
I mean, Jesus, Louiso. Oh, my God. All right, honey, it's dinner time. Can you get the speaker out, please? I will set the table. You got the china.
Apparently, they had nothing else to talk about that night. They'd already talked through everything.
God, they bust out the china. Oh, okay, now let's get that Bose speakerphone.
I wonder if they put us on like a really nice platter.
Oh.
Maybe in the center of the table instead of a candle or something.
Oh, God.
He's trying to get his wife more into it. That's why they listen to it at dinner.
Oh, honey,
I got another one for you tonight.
I want to spice up our relationship. I got something for you. Oh, really? What do you want me to wear?
Yeah.
No, it's nothing about wearing. Oh, put that little costume away. We're gonna listen to Your Money, Your Wealth at dinner.
Yeah, we got to concentrate. Just imagine when we hit that pie. We can do all that stuff then.
Oh, are we gonna role play? Yes. You're gonna be Big Al, and I'm gonna be Joe.
No, I think she'll be Andy, and he'll be both of us. He'll be the straight guy and the other guy.
Oh my God!
He'll be talking on both sides of his mouth.
All right, so this is going to be Jeremy's advice, right? So we'll role play this out.
Okay.
Let's say
You're big on role playing today, Joe.
I am. I'm a big role player. Let's say my name is Kenneth.
Wow, this is TMI.
Right, and I'm going to go to Jeremy because I'm a supply chain manager.
You think people binge?
I'm sure there's been.
They've told us they do.
There's like one
or two.
They find out you guys are on YouTube and they're all over it.
Yeah, it's.
Do you think we're binge worthy?
No, not even.
I can't even imagine.
I can't even listen to about 30 seconds
I would
of this.
fall
garbage.
asleep after 15 minutes.
Fall asleep? I'd vomit.
Just don't do both, please.
You would be. I would be asleep and you would be vomiting.
Yeah,
let's not watch this together. It's not a good combo.
The Your Money, Your Wealth YouTube channel is home to both this podcast and the YMYW TV show, and you can subscribe right from the podcast show notes. And let me tell you, the show notes are a magical place. You can also sign up for a 2-day retirement class or a free retirement workshop. You can find our latest webinar and blog post about the election and your finances. You can watch the latest episode of YMYW TV, which is called Stress Test Your Retirement Plan. And appropriately, you can also sign up for a retirement plan stress test for free. And of course, you can also ask your money questions or send us your comments. Click the link in the description of today's episode in your podcast app to get to those magical podcast show notes. Now let's get back to the funny stuff. These next two are my personal favorite moments from YMYW.
Let's go to Will from Philadelphia, PA. Been listening to your podcast for a few weeks after my uncle recommended you. All right. Well, thanks, Uncle.
Yeah.
I started listening to the 2016 episodes, but changed it to 2019, and now I'm in April. So he started at 2016. He goes, "This sucks."
Yeah, I'm way behind. I've got old tax law. This makes no sense.
Yeah, I would like to thank my mom for being very thrifty and teaching me the value of money. I'm mostly a saver, and due to my unfortunate early adult dabbling into the stock market, I've continued since. I've worked full-time overtime, part-time. He's worked all sorts of times.
And he worked years ago.
And even though I have an okay computer consulting business and my wife works 2 part-times, I've become complacent.
I don't think you're complacent at all.
He's lazy.
He's
relaxed.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Well, he works full-time, overtime, part-time. Oh, I guess he did that years ago.
Years ago.
I'm only 41.
Now he's lazy.
He's 41.
Yeah.
I was working, I thought for sure this guy's like 60. Oh, I'm so tired.
He's younger than you.
Because I'm just jamming, working full-time, part-time. I'm tired. My wife's 38, and we have a 12-year-old, and we try not to live beyond our means. I learned to fix what I can around the house, cars. He gets free gas. Okay.
I wonder how.
I have no idea. He steals it.
Siphons it from his neighbor.
See, this is why I
see
leave
him.
it all in, because this is so funny.
You see Will just sucking out some tube.
He's got to go to the hospital every now and again when he swallows too much.
That's why he's working part-time, because the guy's sick because he's full of gasoline. He's on medical
right.
disability.
No, he's got his 12-year-old sucking up the gas because he can't do it.
Oh, come here, Junior. No, Daddy.
This is a Buick. It's got a big. We can get a lot of gas out of this one.
Daddy, I don't want to have that special juice. Shut up.
It doesn't taste good.
Come on, suck on that thing.
It tastes just like mother's milk.
Oh, my God. All right. Then somehow he happened upon the Dave Ramsey show.
Oh, there you go.
That's Big Al's best friend. He's entertaining, but he had hordes, credit cards.
He doesn't like credit cards.
He does not like them at all. And it's offers. We don't have any outstanding balances. He likes the perks, but it's not making him rich.
Yep.
The main thing I got from him is the urgency, just the
reigniting to pay off all that debt.
Just to pay off the debt.
Bad.
Yes. So he's crunching numbers, and he could save anywhere from $50,000 to $80,000 in interest. I got denied from refinancing despite excellent credit because of self-employment. Well,
because he hasn't worked for 5 years. He's relaxed and lazy. That's what it says. There you go. Here, don't look at my last 3 years' returns. Look at this 10 years ago. Look how good I was.
When I was grinding.
That's before I got sick, siphoning gasoline.
Gas. Oh, God. I read arguments that paying off the house with now money will cost more than next year's money. Inflation. When you can invest the now money and watch it grow. He just needs to get over his fear.
He does. But
look yourself in the mirror.
But it's hard
Will.
right now because
you're 40.
I know, but
you're not 65 and need the money next year.
But he's also thinking 10-year bull run. I missed it. Now I'm going to put all in. I'm going to put the money in, and the market's going to crash.
Okay, 20 years from now, do you think the market is going to be higher or lower than it is today?
Yeah, that is the right way to look at it. I'm just saying it's awful hard for a person that's been burned and has invested in cash for probably 10 plus years, maybe 15. I don't know.
But, okay, how much money do you think a 40-year-old actually has?
Well,
especially if he's been lazy and complacent.
He used to work full-time, overtime.
It's not millions.
And part-time. He used to have all kinds of jobs. So he's got all kinds of money. I don't know. I have no idea.
Right. But I'm saying, okay, so let's say he got burned in the stock market in his 30s. I mean, so he lost a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
you got to get over it. And he never made any money either because he didn't have any money to make.
So, and I'll just give you a little historical frame of reference. Well, just so if you would have invested in the Dow Jones in the height of the market.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically, it was roughly, in round numbers, 12,000 points. And now it's what, 27?
It's higher.
So here's the point. You could have invested at the height of the market in 2007, I guess, late 2007, somewhere around there, the height of the market. And dropped and weathered that whole thing and have a portfolio that's more than double instead of having money in cash.
Yeah,
all I'm saying is you can invest at the absolute worst times and still do rather well just because you do what Joe just said. Is the market going to be higher in 20 years than it is now? The answer is probably yes. And so you go with those odds.
All right. Well, hopefully that helps. Good luck with everything. Thanks for the question. Thanks for the uncle for referring. And I'm sorry 2016 sucked. Dr. Daniel Crosby, how are you, my friend?
I'm laughing because you called me a doctor and no one ever does. So thank you. Thank you for respecting me in ways my parents still don't.
Wow.
Oh, they don't call you doctor?
No.
The last time you were on, we were talking about the laws of wealth, which was a phenomenal. Oh, how many books now? Is this like your fifth book?
It is my fifth book, but one of them is a children's book. Are we going to count a children's
Yes,
picture?
we are. And
Yes.
that's one of my favorite books.
That's
Isn't
the one.
it like
That's one we understand.
Yeah, you're not as smart as you think you are, or is what? It's something kind of with a little.
No, it's more depressing.
Yes,
I have a book called "You're Not That Great," and then that's for adults. Then I have a children's book called "Everyone You Love Will Die."
Yeah. Yes.
That is amazing. Wow.
Yes. Well, let's talk about everyone that you love will die. Let's just dive in right there. The last book. I don't know how much more behavioral finance can you fit in another book.
I wanted to be done with it, frankly. So now I am. I say in the first line of the book that the aim of this book is to write the most comprehensive guide to investor psychology that's around. And one of my reviewers on Amazon doesn't think I did that, but I think I did. And I'm super proud of it. And I will say here for the first time, I will never write another book about investor psychology, because I think, a lot of truths about human behavior just don't change. So I think there's a lot of great stuff in this book. And, now I'm going to write more depressing kids books.
Perfect.
Why are we so bad with money?
We really should mention this book is called The Behavioral Investor. We haven't gotten that in yet.
Well, don't worry about it, Andy. Can we turn her mic off?
Sure.
You give her a leash. All she does is now she wants to run the show.
Yeah, it's impossible. It's already on. We can't put it back in Pandora's box.
I know, it's out.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Doctor. We have some behavioral issues here in this podcast.
Sorry about it. She's helping me. She's helping me slang books. That was wonderful.
He's on her side.
That's right. So yeah, The Behavioral Investor, just named the best investment book of the year by the Axiom Business Book Awards. So take that, 3-star Amazon. I'm not mad about it.
Even though with all this work that's being done, what have you seen? Have you seen any improvements in the average retail investor on how they're dealing with their money?
Are you saying that my life's work has been a waste?
Pretty much.
When you wrote your latest book and kind of putting it all together, were there any surprises or studies or things that you thought, wow, this seems contrary to what I thought I was going to find out?
He's a doctor, Alan. Nothing surprises him.
No. Here's the worst part about becoming a doctor is you feel stupider on the day you graduate because you just learned all the shades of gray. Like you go in, yeah, I got this, and then you come out and you're like, oh my gosh, I know nothing. So, here's one funny study. I don't know how consequential it is, but I thought it was funny. In the chapters about the body, I learned that people who need to pee have exceptional investment performance. And so
we do a much better show when we need to pee.
Right. I'm sitting here with a big gulp, just crushing frankly.
Perfect.
So what they found was something called inhibitory spillover. So basically, the same restraint that you're using to hold it extends to you being able to control your temper and hold it, as it were, in investment markets. So yeah, they did all these studies on people in different physiological states. People who were hungry were horrible investors. People who needed to pee were excellent investors. So stay thirsty.
in volatile markets, go get a big gulp and have one filled all the time.
Hold it until you turn purple.
The stock price does not go down the same as the dividend. Yes, it does. No, it doesn't. How come my stock goes up then? Well,
because it would have gone up
because
more.
it would have gone up more
dividend.
without the dividend. Oh, well, no, I don't think not my stock.
No one's told me that.
No,
That's it.
My stock does something completely different.
Are you sure?
So you're telling me that grits? What's that line? Come on, my cousin Vinny.
Grits ain't groceries?
No. So when the guy goes, well, I guess I'm just a fast cook. You've never seen My Cousin Vinny?
If I did, yeah, I think I did. But
Andy, never. No, you haven't never seen My Cousin Vinny.
I have, but it's been a long
I'm
time.
not-
I
It's
don't
like
remember.
a classic.
I don't remember lines from movies from
Me either.
25 years ago.
Unless it's Monty Python.
I don't think it's been 25 years
All right.
since My Cousin Vinny.
20. It's been a while.
Right? So he's interviewing all these people,
Right.
right? Joe Pesci.
Yes.
And then well, first of all, how this whole thing starts is that they're at the diner.
Okay.
1992.
1992. That was a good year.
So 27 years ago.
Okay, 27 years ago. Anyway, so they're sitting at the diner, and then with Marissa Tomei
Yeah.
and Joey
Tomei.
Pesci,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
What? Tomei?
Tomei.
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 Anyway,
There's no R.
whatever. Okay.
Yes.
So they're sitting there, and then the menu. It was breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Right.
That's all it said.
Okay.
So he's like, well, I'm thinking about breakfast. What about you? So she looks, and yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And the breakfast was grits. So he
Grits.
starts talking, how long does it take to make grits and stuff like that? Well, if any good Southerner knows how to make grits. Oh,
Right.
Anyway. Watch the movie. It's phenomenal.
How did that tie into your point?
I don't know. I totally forgot.
I'm really trying to stretch my
Oh,
mind.
no. I'm talking about dividends.
And you thought of grits?
Yes, because he's proving this gentleman is lying or that he's just ignorant.
Got it.
And he's like, hey, well, what kind of grits do you make?
Okay.
Well, any good Southerner knows how to make good grits. So it takes him a while to make the grits.
Got it.
But
so
the time frame of him in seeing the people
I
shooting
am
the clerk.
so glad you went down this path because now I'm all the better for it.
Okay.
I'm confused.
Not
but
really.
Just watch My Cousin Vinny, folks. Please. The fans of the show, the fans of the movie. We don't have any fans of the show.
Now, did you see it in 92?
I
you
don't
saw it
know. I
recently?
just
He
probably,
said he was in 4th grade in 96, so I'm...
So I think you go home and watch Netflix, old movies.
I don't have Netflix.
Okay, then whatever you do.
I just enjoy the
HBO.
movie.
So
I probably haven't
he
seen
watches
that movie in 20 years.
He watches movies that came out 25 years ago, like last night. He goes, "You can't remember that
Right, yeah.
line."
This is a
You-
classic.
you saw it last night,
I
didn't
did
you?
not see the movie
I
last night,
bet
or else
you-
I would have been a lot tighter
bet you did.
on my lines.
I think that's as tight as you get.
Now I know what that lady on Facebook was talking about talking in circles.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
We both do that.
We were
That's-
talking about
we
dividend-paying stocks,
did get
and
a
then I wanted to
complaint.
talk about Joe Pesci for just a second.
Actually, and I remember we read her comment that we talk in circles, and we agreed.
Totally.
And if you don't like that,
Yeah,
you
but
can try another
yeah.
station, or try another show, because that's what we do.
Look at Big Al. It's getting all feisty. We're talking about the best movies of 1992.
Trying to think. Jurassic Park came out around there, give or take.
I have
Remember
no
that?
idea.
Because Rob was a little toddler, maybe 93, and I remember telling the babysitter, because we had it on VHS, I remember telling the babysitter, please don't show this movie. He's not ready. But we got home. I love the dinosaurs, Daddy. What year?
I don't have Jurassic Park, but My
Oh.
Cousin Vinny is actually on the list of the top movies of 1992.
Yeah, I think it might have been 93.
What else you got? What's the list?
Glengarry Glen Ross,
Awesome movie. Was one of the best sales movie in the history of all sales movies.
Reservoir Dogs,
Reservoir Dogs, another phenomenal movie.
Unforgiven.
That's with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah,
and when he was...
Ann and I watched that. She made me leave. It was so violent.
Wow.
it wasn't that violent until the end.
We made it to the
Curly
end.
Bill. See? Just quiz
Steel
me.
Trap,
I am a steel trap. Next.
Aladdin.
Oh, who doesn't love Aladdin?
Jasmine and
Yes,
Aladdin.
Aladdin. He's a
Yeah.
good lad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was Robin Williams played the old genie there.
That's right. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, Robin.
right.
You know who was the voice of Jasmine?
No.
No, I don't. Do you?
Oh. Yeah,
Was-
Beyonce.
Beyonce. She was like 2.
Fact check. No, I have no idea. Well, you got Jamie Hopkins, Esquire. He's a certified financial planner. Have you ever seen the movie My Cousin Vinny?
Oh boy, not again.
I have seen it many times. I was a lawyer before I joined the financial service world, so I've seen I've seen it.
Is that one of the best movies of all time?
It's a good one. I'm a fan of it. I don't know if I list it as the best. I'm a big Braveheart fan. Shawshank Redemption, those ones I still love.
Well, see, Jamie. So Joe watches these movies like the night before, and then he says, "You remember this movie that I watched like 25 years ago?"
I don't think that is. I just have a very good memory of very good
And then
movies.
he starts quoting lines out of this thing like I'm supposed to remember.
Yeah, well, I just remember, that it's the car and right how it goes, the tracks that go over the curb, and the car up until that model didn't have that feature where it would have kept it straight. So that's the breaking news in that one. Right?
Yeah,
So
it's the dual axle.
Yeah, spoiler alert! 25 years later,
Right, that's right.
You didn't see it yet. It's on you.
It's too
Spoiler
late.
alert.
And to think those were just excerpts, you can hear the full interviews with both Daniel Crosby and Jamie Hopkins, along with Will the Gas Siphoner's full question and answer in the podcast show notes at yourmoneyyourwealth.com. Click the link in the description of today's episode in your podcast app to get there. And if you're enjoying this episode as much as we enjoyed making it, do us a favor, help us grow the show. Share this episode with your friends and on social media and tell them how Joe and Big Al have been making retirement planning, investing, and tax reduction fun. We'll get back to all of your money questions in next week's episode, so click Ask Joe and Al on air in the podcast show notes to send them in now. We love getting your comments too, like this one from Saul, who wrote in and said, "I love your show, and here's a limerick for you. A man in Islip forestalled, your money, your wealth, then he called. He asked, is it right to on my money sit tight? And they said, your return will be mauled." Keep listening to see where that came from.
All right, we got Patrick and Jackie from
Islip,
Islip.
I guess.
I think so.
Oh, I thought for sure Andy would throw me under the bus there.
I don't know how she could say that.
Islip?
Islip, Islip, New York. Dear Joe, Al, and Andy, yo,
Exclamation point.
what up? What up, P? I drive a black Honda Civic, and my wife drives a white Suburban Outback.
Subaru Outback.
Subaru. Oh, Subaru. I just envision her in a Suburban, like a badass chick, and then he's driving this Honda Civic, and I was like... Judy from San Diego writes in. She's like, you were right. It's pronounced Islip.
She was saying that to me.
Oh. Named from the canals of Long Island that are shaped like a capital I, with a bar across the top. I grew up there. Islip.
Yep.
I got it.
What did you say?
Islip.
Islip?
Yep.
Got it.
Hello, I'm a big fan. This is from Phil. Writes in. Hello, I'm a big fan of the YMYW podcast. Your host botched the pronunciation of Islip.
Wait a minute. Only one host botched it. No, I didn't say anything.
Please tell Joe and Big Al, Big All, that it's pronounced East Islip. Thanks. And keep up the great show. So, is it East? It's East Islip.
Islip, yes.
East Islip. 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 There you go.
Or I slip,
It could,
Islip.
it could be I slip or I slip.
but it's not Islip.
One Judy said it's I slip, and Phil said it's ice lip.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a difference in opinion there too.
Yeah. I don't know. Just
No
move.
one knows what to say on this one.
Well, Judy says she's from there, so I trust her.
Got it.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you very much for I botched.
Yeah, Joe and Big All.
Yeah. Like you botched your email, Phil. Oh God.
Oh boy.
Larry writes in somewhere near Columbus, Ohio. Hey, Andy, Big Al, and Joe. God, that's annoying. Love the show. Yours is one of the few podcasts in my rotation that I faithfully listen to every week. You are the car talk of personal finance, extremely informative while being incredibly entertaining. My question is, given that we can
Forestall.
forestall
Hold off on.
forestall in 7 years ago. Forestall.
first time
Who
you've
the
ever
hell
heard that
says
word?
Forestall?
That's the first time you've ever heard that word, isn't it, Joe?
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I thought
That
it
was
was
probably that was a word probably during the probably like 1776 and in that era. I'm guessing.
Larry, are you like a professor of? Given that we can forestall drawing, I'm going to use that word at the bar on Friday night.
Yeah,
I'm
see
gonna
what kind of response
forestall
you get.
having my 5th beer.
But you have to say it like you know what it means. It's forestall, not forestall.
Okay, whatever. I'm not. Did I ever tell you my story about a safety deposit box?
No, I haven't heard it.
So I was the executor for my grandmother's estate.
Okay, right.
Okay. And so I go to Tucson, Arizona, and my grandma wasn't, she died at like 95.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And so my cousin lives in Tucson. And so she's like, Joe, grandma's not doing all that great. Maybe you should come and talk to her, say what's up, you know. And I said, sure. So I'll go to grandma's house. She's laying in bed. She's got a Keystone Light with a straw,
Really?
and
Okay.
she's smoking a Saratoga cigarette.
I
So
like your grandma.
She went out how she wanted to.
Right, 95.
Yeah?
I was
Yeah,
like, grandma.
that's pretty good.
Solid.
Yeah.
And I was wearing like a Kango hat, you know, like you know what I'm talking
I
about.
have no idea what you're talking
You know
about.
what a Kango hat
I
is?
think so. Yeah.
She's gonna look it up.
Whatever. And it was a hat like my dad used to wear. And
Okay.
so I walked into the bedroom and I said, "Hey," and I think she thought it was her son. And my dad died like four years previous.
Right.
And I think I put her into shock. But anyway, she passed a few days later.
Yeah. Okay. We got the hat. I have seen you wear that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we're settling the estate. I thought it was going to be pretty straightforward, right? I'm a certified financial planner.
Right.
I'm president of Pure Financial Advisors.
Sure.
I have a resume.
Is that what you told him?
Yes, my CV is pretty amazing. And so I look at it as like, grandma, no big deal. So the house is in the trust. We got some other stuff. She's got a whole bunch of like collectible trinkets, and so
Right.
I knew who those go to, and everything else. Bank accounts, done.
Right.
And then there was nothing in the trust that said she had a bank deposit box, right?
Okay. Right. Safety deposit box.
Safety, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and then my cousin she's like, yeah, well, there's key is for the safety deposit box. I'm like, okay, well, let's go
See
to the
what it
bank
is,
and
yeah.
let's figure it out. And so I bring the trust documents and everything else, and she's like, well, no, the safety deposit box isn't in the
It's
name
not
of
in
the
there.
trust. It's
Yeah.
not in there. You
Right.
know, how are you going to do
So
it?
grandma has to do it.
Yeah, and I was like, grandma just died.
Yeah.
What do I do? And then so in I guess Arizona law, it was kind of a smaller bank. Really sweet girl that was working there, and I was like, "Listen, you know, I don't really know what's in there." She's like, "Do you think it's less than $10,000?" I go, "Absolutely." Right? So I go get the bank deposit box,
Right.
and it's like $300,000 of GE stock.
Oh, you're kidding.
So I just put it in a bag.
Took it out.
Yeah, it got the hell out of there because
Right.
I probably when I went to probate and everything else.
Right. It would have.
Yeah. So then,
So you broke the law.
I was just about to say, should we be talking about this on
I
air?
know. Well, I don't
Live
know.
out on the
But
air?
the stock certificates were in the name of the trust. So I was like, oh my God, what would I do now if the stock, because they're
Okay.
the actual stock certificates.
Okay.
She's 95.
Oh,
She never
okay.
heard of a a brokerage account
Right.
before.
Sure.
Right?
Okay.
So
Well,
she-
you're okay then. And if it's in the name of the trust.
Yeah, the certificates were in the name of the trust.
Yes.
But there was $300,000 of stuff in the safety deposit box. And she's
Right.
like, well, if it's under 10,000, I think I can probably let you. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's probably, you
Yeah.
know, like
Probably, yeah,
some photos,
some artwork
some
that I
photos.
did when I was in kindergarten.
Yeah, right. It's a letter that I wrote.
Yeah. I love you, Grandma.
Yeah.
Remember
I guess-
we used to have one of our associates listen to books on tape, double speed?
Oh, like 10 times.
Yeah. It's like,
He goes, yeah, I finished this 10,000 page novel in 4 minutes.
it's like, wow. It's like, and when he'd tell us, his hair was all up and
But I guarantee you, he didn't comprehend anything.
I know, I'm aware of that. He said, I read 3 books this weekend. You know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. I do know what you're talking about. I think he just wanted to brag at his cocktail party.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm reading about 6 books this week.
6 books a week. That's one a day on during the week and 3 each weekend. He does them in his sleep too. He goes like 5 speed.
are my favorite segments when you guys just fall apart.
It's subliminal. Oh, I mean, we used to hear those stories.
Yes.
And then we'd ask him about the book. Well, that was a couple books ago.
I want to bigger.
I sort of forget that one.
Oh God. Oh God. Yeah, but we would look at each other. We're like, oh God.
I tried on his tip. I tried one. I didn't understand a word. I tried.
Exactly.
I tried
It's like Pig Latin.
Well, I tried double speed, and that was nuts. So I tried 150. I still couldn't really understand it.
There you have it, 300 episodes of learning and laughing on YMYW. We look forward to, 3,000 more. Clearly, we cannot make this happen without you, so keep sending in those questions and comments. Click the link in the description of today's episode in your podcast app to go to the show notes and click Ask Joe and Al on air. We'll see you next week for more fun and more money questions. Your Money, Your Wealth is presented by Pure Financial Advisors. Click the Get an Assessment button in the podcast show notes at yourmoneyyourwealth.com. or call 888-994-6257 for your free financial assessment. Pure Financial Advisors is a registered investment advisor. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this broadcast and does not represent that the securities or services discussed are suitable for any investor. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the broadcast in the process of making a full and informed investment decision.